Okay, so we got the alpha divided by 2, right? So mine's 0.025, just like it was before. Now the degrees of freedom, this is a t-distribution. We're talking about means here. So when we have a kind of a smallish sample size, we only have 84 here. You can't use the normal distribution, you have to use the t-distribution. And the degrees of freedom, you want to type equal and then go up to your sample size, 84, right? Minus 1. All right, Matthew, you got it?
Uh-huh.
It should get 83 there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now with the t-distribution, you want to just click on it so you're just to the right of the parenthesis. Click on the probability value and then comma on the degrees of freedom. Okay, see it? And then that'll give you your t-value. Let's go over here and see if we did it right.
You said
So, yep.
you said times degrees of freedom?
No. You have the t inverse, right?
Uh-huh.
Equal minus t inverse, parenthesis, G19.
Uh-huh.
That's your probability value here, the alpha divided by 2 value, right?
Okay.
Comma, the degrees of freedom.
Thank you.
All right. And you should get something like 2.6, right?
Yeah.
All right, so the degrees of freedom are 83, right? My critical value is 1.989. And the margin of error, what's the margin of error again? Margin of error is the standard error, standard error, times what? The critical value, right? Times critical value. So we're multiplying the standard error by the critical value. And my margin of error is 1.074. But enter to see if we get them all right. And we're still getting them right, right? Got them all right? You good, Matthew?
Um, you said equals critical value.
Are you talking about calculating the margin of error?
Yes.
Yeah, you multiply the standard error by the
Standard error.
critical value. Multiply.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right. So you probably got 1.5-ish, 1.4-ish.
1.27.
Up.
I got 1.27.
Okay, that's fine. Yep. That works, right? In your mindful math.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now the lower limit, remember what the lower limit is. It's the mean, right? Minus the lower limit, right? Sorry. It's the mean percent on the road minus margin of error, right? Minus the margin of error. This is your kind of like best case scenario, right? You don't want people on the road too much. Otherwise, they might quit if they're on the road too much, right? I think most people would probably not like to travel so much. I hate flying, right? Some people love to fly. I hate it, right? So my best case scenario, my lower limit, is what? 32.724. And I got that right. What's my worst case scenario? My upper limit. I'm going to take the mean percent on the road. I'm going to add to it the margin of error. Okay. The worst case scenario, it's 34.871. Worst case scenario in my case. Right. So the confidence interval tells you what? If this is sample data, which it is, right? We're 95% confident that the average percentage of our employees being on the road for those who didn't quit, our current employees, is between 33% and almost 35%, right? That's what those numbers mean. Okay. You got green check marks?
Yep.
All right. Now we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to do it for what? We're
Those.
going to do it for those who quit, right? We're going to do the same thing, but for those who quit, right?
Yeah.
So this is the rep. Why do we repeat things over and over and over? Why do you practice the same drills over and over in baseball?
So remember, muscle memory.
Exactly. You practice to get better, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you a third layer of building confidence intervals, right? But this time we're going to do it for people who quit, right? So down here, we want the average. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy these answers down here, right? I'm going to copy these, those the ones we just did, right? I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste it down here. Yep. I pasted it down there. Now, these numbers are wrong, right? These numbers are wrong.
Yeah.
I just pasted it so I don't have to do all the typing, right? So the mean percent on the road who quit. If you double click it, you get a box here, right? Notice that the box moved. See that? What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the top of it. I'm going to pull it down. See what I'm doing? I'm going to pull it down until I get to the ones. See that? Now I'm going to move it back up here to the ones. See that? Now the blue box should be around the percent of time on the road for my employees who quit. Then we go to the bottom and see if it's okay. Oh, wow. I'm going to move this box up. I'm going to move it up to here. See? So my average, I'm averaging cells B86 colon B150, right? I'm going to copy the B86 colon B150. I'm going to copy that, right? Because I'm going to reuse that over and over and over, right? So the number of employees who quit, I'm going to replace the B14, B97 with the thing that I just copied. B86 to B150. B86 to B150. B86 to B150. B86 to B150, right? That's good. My standard error is good because it's a ratio of two things. Then we take the square root of it. My alpha divided by 2 is good. My degrees of freedom is good. My critical value is good. My margin of error is good to go. And my confidence interval is good to go. How copying that does, all I did is I modified the cells here, here, and here. Are you good, Matthew?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to go over here and enter the numbers in, right? So the mean percent on the road who quit is 49.786. The number of employees who quit is 65. The variance of percent on the road is 23.31. 331. Standard error of the mean is 0.599. The alpha divided by 2 minus 0.025. Degrees of freedom are 64. 65 minus 1. My critical value is 1.998. Yours should be different. My margin of error is 1.197. Yours should be different. The critical value on the lower limit is 0.589. My upper limit is 0.983, and then I hit enter to see if I did it right. Nice. All right, Matthew, you get all the green check marks?
I'm still filling them in, but there's
Okay,
yeah,
they're all green though, so far?
so far, yeah.
Okay. Jacopo, did you get this one done?
Yes, I did, Professor.
Oh, you already got number, already got this question in? All right, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, did you get my note about the final exam in your IS course?
Actually, I just emailed about that to you. Like on my Cengage page, it doesn't appear any final exam. The only final
Let me fix that real quick while Matthew's getting caught up.
because I did the final exam on this class that even if it was not supposed to do it, I already done it when you said it. But I did not do the final on my other class because it's not on Cengage.
Okay, hang on. I think I have to extend the date.
I only have the pre-quizzes from pre-quizzes 2 to pre-quiz 8.
Yeah, let me.
I've done them all.
That's weird. Okay. Here it is. Oh yeah, you should be able to do the. You should be able to do. Yeah, you should be able to do the final in. Let me double check it for you. Yeah, there's a final exam that you have to do. Let me double check the due date on it.
No, in this class, I already done it. I've done it today.
Oh, you did it today. Okay, all right.
But for the other class, which is the one that you emailed me for,
Yeah.
there's no final. I only have the pre-quiz.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Earlier today when I saw that, you hadn't done it yet. Okay. Good. Sweet.
So for the other class, you're confirming that I only have to do the pre-quiz on Cengage and nothing else, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
So,
Cool. Yeah. Earlier in the day when I looked at the Cengage for your class,
yeah.
I didn't see an exam there, so you must have done it after I emailed you. So that's good.
Sure. And also, do you remember that I have one class enrolled for San Leo University for ecology? And I'm doing well in that class, but I already done the final exam and stuff. And I received an email from Bonita or something like the woman who takes care of it, and
Yeah.
she will send the grades to the school for around next week. But I'm graduating this Saturday, so
Yeah. What you need to do is make sure that you let the Tracy know, the registrar, or
yeah,
Agnes McGarrigle.
yeah,
Make sure they know. Keep them in the loop because I have no control over that.
okay,
Yeah, that's outside of business. I don't have any control over that.
no worries, perfect.
Okay. All right. Matt, you got those numbers entered?
Yes.
All right. So now notice best case scenario, 48.6% of our employees, or
Oh,
sorry, the
wait, only
average amount of time spent by employees that quit in a best case scenario is 49%, right? For the employees who stayed, the worst case scenario is 35%, right? So what does that tell you? It tells you that, man, the employees that are quitting, they tend to what? Be on the road a lot. The employees that don't quit, they tend to be on the road less. You see it? So worst case scenario for the employees who don't quit, we're talking about at most 35% is the percent of time our current employees are on the road. Whereas best case scenario for the ones who quit our firm, they were on the road about 49% of the time, right? So it tells you, what that tells you is employees, if these two intervals overlapped, we'd probably conclude that there's no difference, but they don't overlap, do they? Both these numbers are less than both these numbers. So what we're concluding there with 95% confidence is that the employees that quit spend a lot of time on the road. And the same thing for those who don't quit, they spend a lot less time on the road, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a difference in the means, right? We're going to do the difference in the means. So down here, when you're doing the difference in the means, all you have to do is subtract the bigger one. I'm subtracting the bigger mean percent on the road. I'm subtracting, doing 49.786 minus the smaller mean, right? You see that? The difference in the mean percent of the time the employees are on the road. So 49.786 minus 33.798. Okay.
Yep.
There's a difference of 15 percentage points, right? Almost 16 percentage points. So employees that are quitting are spending a lot more time on the road. I'm going to check to make sure that answer is correct. All right. So you got the mean difference in sample means. You got that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to come up here to variance. I'm going to come up here. Whoops. All right. I'm going to come up here. Variance. I'm going to do standard error of the mean. I'm going to double click. I'm going to double click the standard error of the mean, which is in row 30. You see that?
Yep.
I'm going to copy the equation inside that. I'm copying the equation that's inside that box, right? I'm copying that equation inside there. I'm going to paste it down here. All right, you see that? So it should give you the same number, right? Give you the same number.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go. That was the formula for those who quit, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to those who did not quit. I'm going to click on standard error of the mean for those who did not quit. I'm not going to copy the whole thing. I'm going to only copy G17 divided by G16. All right. I'm only copying that part. I'm not copying the whole thing. Got it? We're good?
Yep.
All right. Then I'm going to come down here. And inside the parenthesis right here, I'm going to delete that last parenthesis. And after G28, I'm going to hit plus, right? I'm going to do Control V. What am I doing? I'm taking this ratio and I'm adding it to that ratio. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm doing. What do you get when you hit enter?
0.741.
0.741?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see what you got. I'm going to make sure you did it right.
Okay.
Let me stop share.
I got a check mark.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and share. Maybe you got different numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, double click on your standard error thing right there. Yeah. Oh, and then scroll up a little bit. Sweet, you got it right. Awesome. This is great, man. Great. Okay, cool. All right. So we must have different percentages.
Yeah.
I forgot how I coded this. All right, so we're all good on difference in sample means. We're all good on the standard error of the difference. Now we got to get the alpha divided by 2, right? Well, the
Mhm.
alpha divided by 2 is the same as it was before. I have a 95% confidence interval. The 95% represents the inside of the distribution around the hump. The alpha in my case is 5%. That's the percent that's in the tails. And you divide that in 2 because you have 2 tails. Now I give you the degrees of freedom, right? I gave you the degrees of freedom.
Yeah.
What are your degrees of freedom?
136.
Okay, cool. All right. Now, there's a very complicated formula for the degrees of freedom. And we're not going to deal with that, right? Because a computer will give you that. Yeah, it's a
Mhm.
really complicated formula for the degrees of freedom when you're talking about the difference in means. Okay, for the critical value, you want to type equal minus. So equal minus t dot inverse parentheses. Yeah. Equal minus t dot inverse parenthesis. And then the first thing it's asking for is the probability. That's your alpha divided by 2 number, right? In my case, 0.025. And then it's asking you to type a comma, right? A comma. And then it's asking for the degrees of freedom. In my case, 139. So I have equal minus t dot inverse, comma, the cell that contains my alpha divided by 2 level, 0.025, comma, the cell that contains my degrees of freedom, which in my case is 139. And I get a t value of 0.1977. Okay. And we're going to type those numbers in to see if we get them right. So my alpha divided by 2 number, my critical value, enter. I've gotten everything right, right? All right. Now, how do you calculate the margin of error, Matthew?
I have to
Standard error?
multiply the standard error and the critical value.
Exactly. Hey, learning's going on, dude. So I'm going to remove that down to 3 decimal places. Right. So I have a margin of error of 1.594. Now, what you do for the confidence interval, I'm going to click on the, I'm going to do equal, and I'm going to put my blue box around the difference in sample means, right? And I'm going to subtract off the margin of error, right? Subtract off the margin of error. And it's positive, 14.394. I got to get the margin of error too. My margin of error is 1.594. Okay. And then you get the upper limit, which is the difference in sample means plus the margin of error. So now both of these are positive. So what that means is the people who are quitting, we're 95% confident that they are spending between 17.6% of the time on the road more. The worst case scenario, they're spending 17.56 more percent of the time on the road than the people who don't quit. The best case scenario is they're only, that difference is only 14.4%, right? Both are positive, so we conclude that the people who are quitting are not very happy about spending all that time on the road because they spend a lot more time on the road than the people who are not quitting. And turnover is really bad for productivity. A firm that has lots of turnover, they're going to probably have productivity issues.
Wait, I'm sorry. What did you do to get the lower limit again? You said,
Yeah, we're taking
okay,
the difference in sample
got,
means and subtracting off the margin of error,
got it.
right? And then the upper limit, we're just adding the two, right?
And you said subtracting the,
Margin of error.
sorry.
That's all right.
I got it.
Okay, and you got the upper limit too?
Yeah.
All right. Now, because zero, we're looking at this confidence interval here, right? Because zero is less than the confidence interval. Zero is less than both of these, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are 95% confident. Now, you're not going to say 95% confident, right? You're going to say what?
100? I don't know.
What's your number? Computed what? Percent confidence interval?
Wait, hold on. 99.
Yeah. So you're going to say because zero, are both your lower limit and your upper limit both positive?
Yes.
Yeah. So because the zero is less than the confidence interval, we are 95%, in your case, 99% confident that employees who quit logged more time on the road than employees who did not quit. Spending too much time on the road does what?
Increases.
It increases, right? Increases the likelihood that employees will quit your firm. Spending too much time on the road is
The
the only,
uh,
is it the only reason why they quit your firm? Could it
wait,
be other stuff,
yeah,
right?
not the only.
Conservatives and some gay men, I don't know if you've seen this, but Bud Light released they
Yeah.
partnered with the transgender woman.
Yeah, I saw that.
You saw that?
Yeah.
Gay bars were boycotting, I think in New York City, some gay bars, I read about it, were boycotting Bud Light. And
Really?
conservatives who love Bud Light is drunk by people who like football, who hunt and fish and camp and drive trucks with mudder tires, right?
Yep.
They didn't like that partnership, right? And neither did gay men, from what I could see in some bars. And I read this article about that in New York City. So it's kind of funny. The Dylan Mulvaney partnership with Bud Light united gay men with conservative men who like to hunt and fish and drive pickup trucks with big mudder tires, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, but that's not the only reason, right? Why? Right. That's not the
Could be,
only reason.
yeah, it could be different.
Yeah, there could
reasons.
be other reasons, right?
Yeah.
Why maybe men who like Bud Light are stopping not buying Bud Light. Maybe Coors Light is releasing commercials about, shooting ducks with shotguns and fly fishing, right?
Yeah.
And watching college football, right? So there could be a lot of reasons. There's not one reason for it, right?
Yeah.
It could be that partnership with the transgender woman could be a big part of their decline in sales. But I don't think it's the only reason why their sales are declining, right?
Yeah.
So just like that right here, spending too much time on the road is not the only reason, right?
Nope.
Right. There can be other reasons why they're leaving the firm. But
Mhm.
what we've concluded in this problem is that we're 95% confident that employees who quit spend more time on the road, right?
Yeah.
So let's just make sure we hit enter and get everything correct. Right. All right, cool. Awesome.
Perfect.
All right. So do you have Dang it. I'm tired, man. I got about 4 hours sleep last night.
Trust me, I understand.
Jacopo. Is there a problem you need to work on that Matthew needs to work on?
No, I'm good.
Let me stop the share and stop the video.
Yeah.
Hang on. I think my kids are gonna bust through the door pretty soon.
Regarding what we said before for the San Leo class, I just emailed Trey